100 times, and I'm like, is that what I hit?
Hello, here we are, the Clydesdale Fitness and Friends podcast.
And that is our new theme song.
Yep.
Welcome.
For people who don't, go ahead. Sorry.
That's it.
I was going to say, for people who don't know me, that don't know that I'm a preschool teacher, that I literally sing, like, even when I'm coaching CrossFit classes, I'll just sing as people are come into the class to welcome them. So,
and you just welcomed our whole audience in song with our new podcast theme song.
Here we go.
So much fun. So first, we need to thank our sponsors, RX Mercure. The good chance maybe we'll see an RX Mercure jump rope this week as part of the Open. So if you need to get yours, you can go to rxmercure.com, use the code Clydesdale15, all caps, and get 15% off your order, as long as it's not a new edition or a special release.
Nope. Right. Special edition or new release.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, you said new edition.
I always think like Mr. Telephone Man, new edition. But anyway, So I figured I'd sing a song too.
Okay, good. I like it.
And then Mobility Movement. Mobility Movement is our new sponsor, which we all love and we all need, and we need it for recovery. And that is what I would say about Mobility Movement. It is not just about your mobility. It is about overall recovery. It is about sleep. It is about stress. It is about getting some of that mobility back, getting some blood flowing. And when you join, you can use Clydesdale20 and get 20% off your first 6 months with Mobility Movement. And that is at mobilitymvmnt.com. Mobility Movement, mvmnt.com. Clydesdale20, all caps.
This is a true story that I was coaching Mr. Charlie Odie in our class this morning, and we were doing hang cleans, and his front rack position is much improved. And I called it out in the middle of the class and said, "Look at that, Charlie Odie, you're almost there."
Almost.
Progress. He is getting there.
But better than holding it out here.
Yeah. Yep. Like this. Yeah.
Yeah. So speaking of fun, you and I had a good time last week.
Yeah, we did at the Rogue announcement.
Yeah.
Well,
so
at Rogue for the CrossFit.
Yeah, 22.2, all twos. What were your overall impressions about the announcement?
I thought it was pretty exciting. I think what's so fascinating about it is that when you see it when you're watching it on the screen, it seems like a much bigger ordeal than it really is in person. What I mean by production, like a production, like it seems like this huge thing, and it was quite small, and pretty intimate at Rogue, which was super fun, and I loved that. But it's interesting to kind of just see both sides of that. I thought the same thing when I went to the games this year, not the Coliseum, but looking at the North Park. I thought, oh, it seems so much bigger on TV than it is here.
Yeah. I was shocked because you and I both went to 17.2 when it was held in the warehouse at Rogue, and it was a much bigger setup then.
Right.
Much bigger. And then in this one, if you've ever been to the Rogue showroom, the whole setup may have taken a sixth of the showroom.
Yeah.
And the floor itself, probably half of that.
Yeah.
So it was really tiny, and they only invited enough people to kind of go around the floor twice in a U.
Right.
So it was very, very intimate. And on TV, it looks like there's a big crowd. But really, they didn't allow a big crowd in. And you miss out on some of the stuff when you're there live. You get the excitement of the actual event going on, but it's really hard to hear any of the videos played in the middle. It's hard to hear the announcers as they're doing things. And for you and I, everything was announced. We were looking at their backs.
Yeah.
Right. So it was just because we were behind the rig, which was a great vantage point if they would have done toes to bar or pull-ups or anything like that. And still was a pretty doggone close vantage point. We got a great view. But yeah, I had a good time. But it's a lot of standing and waiting.
Yeah, like over an hour of just standing with anticipation.
And you and I have talked about this before. I would much rather like run and jump and do stuff workout wise than just stand still for hours.
Totally. And it was a little bit frustrating just because so we were standing behind somebody, and being a shorter person, I really I had to kind of dodge to look between people. And then so every time they would move, then I would have to readjust just so I could get a view of it. So that part was just kind of frustrating. So.
Yeah, I was frustrated because I'm not that short. You know, I'm close to 6 feet tall, but the one person in front of me was like 6'3".
Yeah. Yeah.
So, so yeah, but it was a really cool experience. I'm glad we got to go down there and do that, and get to kind of hang out. And it was fun. I actually got to go up and talk to Saxon afterward.
Oh, you did get to? I didn't talk to you about that.
Yeah, so I went up and talked to him afterwards and just gave him a fist bump, and told him it was good to see him, and he just was just so cool and energetic as he always is, and kind and all of that. And then as I was talking to him, then the other athletes were talking to me as they walked by, because I think they thought I might have been somebody who knew Saxon, so I might be someone worth knowing. I don't know. But that was awesome. And yeah, that was good. So then we did the workout this weekend, and you kicked some ass.
I'm definitely proud of it. You know, I literally decided about 3 minutes before I did the workout to do it. And that's not abnormal for me. So as a coach, I would not recommend this, but as an athlete, sometimes I'm a grip it and rip it kind of person. So I did a few banded good mornings. I did a few burpees and then just kind of went to it. So in some aspects, I'm a better athlete because I didn't have to overthink it. I tend to overthink a lot of stuff. But then on the other part, I thought, now I still think I could do better.
But you did beat some former games athletes.
I guess. But that person also mentioned they had a back injury. So.
You didn't have to say that part.
Well, I'm just being transparent. If somebody goes and looks at my score, I'm like, that's not quite game. So. But my hamstrings
also
were
in your 40s.
Okay. I am.
Yeah, so the first week I did foundations.
Mm-hmm.
And this week I was like, you know what, there's no benefit to me doing foundations over scaled. And I actually somewhat considered RX, but I was like, no, just do it scaled, just do the lighter weight.
Yep.
And for the first time probably ever in my open career, I warmed up.
Good for you.
I did some burpees. I didn't say like, hey, I want to save them for the workout. Mm-hmm. I actually did some. And then I got on a C2 bike for about 90 seconds right before the
oh, nice went. To get your heart rate up and all that.
Yeah. So 90 seconds. Okay. And then there was like 15 seconds to go, hopped off and went right to the line. And I was scared because it is a lower back workout. And for someone who has been through what I've been through, it just is a scary proposition, but I felt great the entire way through.
Good.
I will say my hamstrings started to light up because I was being very conscious about not lifting with my back, right?
Yeah.
And then my quads from the burpees, like there's movements that I just have not done in a long time, and that like kick up, pulling with my quads to get my legs up under me.
And that hip flexor and
hit me pretty quick. But I just went slow and steady. I wasn't trying to like break records. I wanted to just feel good and get through it. And it's the best I've felt in a long time. And I gained so much confidence from that workout because I haven't done burpees since before the back surgery in December. And they felt better than they have in 5 years.
That's awesome.
So I'm super stoked.
I loved the new standard of the burpee over the bar.
I hate it.
Why? What do you hate about it?
Because I think when it wasn't there, people did it anyway, but it was slight. And now it's just hard to judge.
I thought it was worse to judge before.
No, I think now because both feet have to be above the bar at the same time.
Yeah.
That I saw so many videos where people were not, i.e. the Katrin video from last year. She did not have both feet above the bar at the same time. It looked more like a step hop.
Yeah.
And the standard does say that you have to have both feet above the bar at the same time.
At the same time, yeah. But you don't have to have a 2-foot takeoff.
Right.
Well, what I liked about it was I was able to control my breathing and not, like I was able to pick, so slow and steady. We saw that from the announcement. Slow and steady was a way to go with that one. And so doing burpees that way helped me stay slow and steady, that I picked that pace and I was able to maintain it and not like be standing there breathing heavy for periods of time. But program wise, I have to say I am disappointed because well, number one's kind of boring. But number two, I'm never a fan, and people will probably get on me about this because this is the sport of CrossFit we're talking about, but I'm still looking at this as a coach and as an athlete. And deadlifts for time, I'm never a fan of. I'm just not a fan of that high volume of deadlifts for a time piece.
Yeah, to me it didn't. Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying. I mean, I do get it. I think they were broken up enough in this. Unless you are a speed demon at burpees, like you're going to have rest in between each set.
But only going up, not so much coming down.
Yeah.
And here's my other beef about it. Well, so, you want your hamstrings to be fired up, right? You shouldn't be lifting with your back. Well, the problem is that several people wanted to repeat this workout that I know of. And by them repeating it, because their hamstrings were on fire, they then are going to resort to lifting with their back because that is, so, but that's an athlete and a coaching issue, not as a programming issue, but just kind of my thoughts
I will
on
tell
it.
you this, at my gym, they would not let you repeat.
Yeah.
That it was too costly on the body because of the hinging movement so much in that workout that they're like, you better be prepared for the first one because you're not going to redo.
Good. Yeah.
It's too hard on the body to do that, which I appreciate their. So just so you know, like our gym, when the event is released, within an hour we get an email lining up what the schedule is for the weekend and tips and tricks from our coaches. And that was like the headline. This is one we are not going to repeat.
Nice.
Because you will not be ready for 22.3.
That's what I'm worried about. Yeah.
And you're going to risk injury. So we are not doing that. Make sure that you are ready when you do it. And so, I thought that was cool. But I did notice that Mr. Panchik redid it.
Oh, he did?
He did. Because he finished above Justin in the final standings. And we can go over those real quick.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. We'll save the men for last because it is much more interesting than the women's side.
Okay.
Number one on the women's side currently is Mal O'Brien.
Oh, wait, so are we talking about overall or are we talking about
this overall
workout? Okay.
Overall,
okay.
And I'll tell you where they placed this week.
Okay.
Mal O'Brien, second place this week. So that's a first and a second for her.
Got it.
Tia Toomey is now in second, a fifth, and a first.
Okay.
Leah Storen from Norway, fifth and an eighth. Lori Clement, 10th and an 11th. Andrea Solberg, 14th and 9th. Emma McQuaid, 19th and 6th. Brooke Wells, 21st and 6th. Haley Adams, 14-16. Grace Strichon, 19-14. Ellie Turner, 14-26. Those are the 2 placements. That's the top 10.
Nice.
On the men's side, number 1 is friend of the show, Phil Toon. Brute strength.
Yeah.
They were upset that they did not make many of our top 5 teams. And you're going to see they probably should have now that we're going to read these off.
Well, I'm glad they're calling us out on it.
So Phil Toon, 11th and 5th. Saxon Panchik, 3rd and 14th. Matt Poulin, 10th and 8th. Victor, I punted last week. I'm going to punt again because he took first last week, and 18th this week. Justin Mederios, 5th and 20th. Dallin Pepper, brute strength, 6th and 22nd. Colton Mertens, 23rd and 9th.
That was a good one for him.
James Sprague, brute strength, 6th and 37th.
Is he 18 yet?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're like 20, him and Dallin.
Oh, okay. Okay. Got it.
Jay Crouch, 11th and 32nd. And Alex Catullus, 15th and 32nd.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, there's some young athletes in that top 10 on the men's side.
And the top female. Jeez.
Yeah, Phil Toon is like 22 or 23. And then Colton Mertens is just like in that 22, 23 range. And then you've got Sprague and Dallin Pepper at 20. Medeiros is 23. You could be their parents. I know. All of them. I mean, Saxon's the old man at 25.
I know.
That's crazy. So, a couple other things I wanted to talk about.
Okay.
I left out one fun thing that happened to me this week. Sam Briggs.
Oh, yeah. I remember right as you said that. That was super cool. Yeah, definitely share that story.
So, the way I go in at noon on Friday to do the workout every week on my lunch hour, and we do it, but where we split the class in half, and one judges one in the first part of the class, and then you flip, and then your athlete judges you in the second, and that's how it worked for me. And so I'm judging my athlete, and I see Sam roll into the gym. And like the fanboy in me is like, pay attention, not her.
Yeah, I'm judging.
Attention, count. And so she just comes in and she's like rolling out, doing some different stuff. Like,
is Nicole with her?
No.
Okay.
No, it was just her. And even like Christy wasn't there or anything like that. So she's just rolling out right off to the side of our little area. And so it's my turn to go, and I'm thinking, oh my God, I've got to do burpees in front of the engine. So I'm going, and I'm just trying to stay smooth and do my thing. And she's, clapping and come on, guys, the whole way through. And my goal was to not break up the burpees. So, and that's big for me. Even with like 6, 7, 8, like that's a lot for me. So I would get through them straight, but I'd need to take a breath, and I would just go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and pick up the bar.
Yeah.
Till I got to 8:31 in the workout. And I got done with the burpees, and I stopped and I put my hands on my knees for the first time at 8:31.
Yeah.
And she yells at me, "This is not the time to rest. Pick up that bar." And so I picked up the bar.
Okay, because she just told me to. 2013 fittest woman in the world.
Yeah. And so I picked up the bar, banged out my reps, and got 5 burpees. And that's a lot for me in 90 seconds because I'm not a fast burpeer.
And did you go talk to her after?
I did.
Okay.
So I went over.
Did she recognize you from us interviewing her?
I made sure she I said who I was, and then we had interviewed her. But I said, I want to thank you because I would not have picked up the bar. It was going to be a while. Yeah. And she goes, well, that's just dumb. That's not the time to rest. You only have 90 seconds to go. You can do anything for 90 seconds. And I'm like, okay. And then she's laughing as she's saying it, right?
Yeah,
and then, and I said, well, are you here to do 22.2? And she goes, oh, no. I do it as soon as it's announced, get it done so I don't have to think about it. So I did it yesterday afternoon. As soon as it was announced, I banged it out.
Yeah.
And I said, well, that's awesome. She goes, yeah, I'm just here to get a training session in with Christy.
Cool.
Because her and I are good friends and just wanted to hang out this afternoon.
And live close.
And then I'm going to be here at the Arnold all week.
Yeah.
So, and I guess Justin Mederios was at Polaris in the morning before my heat. And I found that out through Christy's video. But yeah, I never saw him there.
Yeah. And then a bunch of, I think whenever the Buttery Bros come and Fraser, they always go to CrossFit Grandview, which makes sense because it's kind of in that area and it's where Rogue used to be near, but.
What used to be Rogue?
Right. It used to be the OG Rogue. Yeah. But I kind of wish they would. I get like having a comfortable spot, but I think it would be cool for like games athletes to like, sorry, that was my dog. He's jumping on trying to get some butter. If they like dropped in other random spots, this was really cool. So one of our coaches works at Rogue, and so she was at the Arnold working at the booth, and these people came over and were asking questions about CrossFit, and the coach recommended, something if you wanted to drop in, you could drop in at our gym. They came and did the open, and it was their very first CrossFit workout ever.
Oh my goodness.
But it was so cool. Just like that, people visiting from out of town and to the Arnold. So.
Well, kind of I have 2 things left to talk about. And one of them is I got to watch the Training Think Tank video about Sarah moving to Georgia. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it's really Max kind of narrating some video and his thought process on how he coaches this move. And it was really, really fascinating. And I would highly recommend it for any coach to kind of do it. He talks about Alexis Raptis and Sarah, Alexis being with them for a few weeks before the games last year or before the semifinals last year to get her ready for West Coast. And then she missed the games by 1 spot. And that she decided that she improved so much in that short time that she was going to move to Georgia. And now her and Sarah permanently living there in Georgia. Yeah. And how Sarah's strengths are very different than Alexis's strengths and their coach difference, but they have to be in this community together, and how you can design workouts to make you have a community feel and get to know each other better quicker. So he had them do a lot of interval work where she goes, like Sarah goes and Alexis goes and Sarah goes and Alexis goes. And then you can see what your competitor's pacing is because you're waiting and you can feel how long it takes them to do it compared to how long it takes you to feel to do it. And that it's important to design workouts where both of them finish within seconds of each other, and not to give one or the other a home run workout because it will defeat the other. And it was just really, really kind of a cool concept. And they walk through like a full day of programming and why they put these elements together, because this was Alexis's strong point, and then pair it with Sarah's strong point. Mm-hmm. And things like that. It was just really a kind of a cool concept. Or it was interval workouts that they were doing together as a team.
Yeah, I'd be interested to hear, because I wonder about that sometimes, like with underdogs, like how that programming works, and if it feels like that, like, I'm always competing against this person, or it is just like my friend at the gym. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
how does that kind of programming? I'd be interested to explore that.
Yeah. And maybe next time we have Justin on, we can explore
Yeah.
that avenue of it.
Yeah.
So that's about all I have for today.
What are you thinking for 22.3? Is it going to be a repeat?
So a lot of people are saying that it's either going to be the 21.3 and 4 repeat, or the toes to bar double under clean ladder that's been done twice before. That's what the internet is saying.
Gosh, I hope we don't have thrusters. Please.
Yeah, I would much rather do a clean ladder than thrusters. But yeah, that's what I'm hearing.
Well, I definitely think double unders are happening.
Yeah.
And we have to do something with the rig.
You would think.
It's on the equipment list.
So let's preview the rig report for Thursday. We have the Blue City CrossFit people are doing an analysis of their retired athletes who are either competing in the open or have decided not to compete, and looking at their Instagrams to see if they're actually doing the workout, and then like what the reasoning is behind. And they got some pretty in-depth information in that. We have a new Cats Rants that's going to happen this Thursday. The full lineup isn't completely done yet, but I did do an interview with a person named Rosa Giles. She is the fittest person in Uzbekistan. And she is the person who helped Roman get his visa to the United States. And she explains how they did that. But in the process of, that's why I interviewed her. But in the process, her story was so compelling that I'm going to make it a 2-part series. One about her going from a child model to a CrossFit athlete. And then his story of all that he's gone through. And we talk about the situation in Russia and Ukraine, and how her being from a Russian-speaking country, so I think what we would call former Soviet bloc, and how they are impacted by what's going on over there. And how with Roman denouncing his own government's actions, how brave that is, because we don't understand that in this country. And she kind of gives us the light of what it's like to live there, and the impact that could have on his life by making that statement.
Wow.
So that will be in this Thursday. The Roman part will be part 1, and then her story will be part 2 the following week. We also have Cooper Marsh episode releasing that day. There's some really cool behind the scenes stuff of how he negotiated the rad deal with Danielle Brandon. I may put that in if there's time and space in the rig report. If not, I may save that for a later time. And if you did not catch the James Townsend interview from Monday,
that was one of my faves.
Yeah, like I think it is the most impactful. I think it's the most important interview we have done in our 241 episodes. And we've done some really good ones, but like what he went through in his life, and some of it's self-inflicted.
I'm going to pick Sean Clifton over that one, but yeah.
Okay.
Okay, but different impacts. Different impacts. Yeah.
Yeah. And we've done some great ones. I mean,
I know.
I know. You can nitpick, but
it's also hard to remember all the ones that we've done because we've,
I think what's going on in this country today, it just is very impactful that he in the 2000s still faced what he faced, and how it impacted his life. And I put a clip out today that it gives me goosebumps every time I re-listen to it, about him being, he's the coach of elite athletes, and he's the coach of people that come to his gym, but he's really a coach of the people. And I think that describes him so well, because we all know Charlie bugged him immediately because that is his hero.
Mm-hmm.
And he got back to Charlie immediately. So he is a man of his word. And it's awesome. And so there may be there's a clip in there if we need it for the rig report. But yeah, it's going to be a jam-packed full rig report this Thursday. And Cooper Marsh will be dropped that night, who is the agent for Bethany Shadburn, Annika Greer, Danielle Brandon, Amanda Barnhart, Steph Chung. There's a bunch more. Emma Carey, all that stuff. So anyway, yeah, Teddy just jumped on as we're signing off and said we just hit 700 subscribers on the button.
Boom! That means
we actually need to spin the wheel twice, because since last week, we have surpassed 600, and now we've hit 700.
We did 100 this week?
We did almost 200.
Yeah, buddy.
So we have to give away 2 jump ropes next week. So Teddy, make sure that you tune in at 6:30 Eastern time next week when we spin the wheel, because it may be you, buddy. It may be you.
Might be.
And after you throw your jump rope this week in the open, you may need a replacement.
Just got a new one. But if you do, use the code Clydesdale15, all caps, for 15% off. For everything except new releases and special editions.
Yeah. Not new editions. Mr. Telephone Man. There's something wrong with my line.
Okay, well, signing off.
All right. Well, we'll see you next week on the Clydesdale Fitness and Friends.
Bye.
See ya. Which button? I do this every time.
I don't. It's amateur hour over here.